All right, what's up, guys? I'm here with Travis.
What's up, guys?
We just had a 6-man tournament over here at the house. He made it all the way to the finals with his Gravekeeper deck. So we're gonna go ahead and showcase his deck profile.
All right, so we're just gonna go over the monsters real quick. So I played 3 Spy. She specials from deck anything 15 or less. She's a 2K defense. Being said, you're always setting her. It's a flip effect. With Necrovalley on field, she goes to 2,500. So most times people are running into it and taking damage, and then you flip summon. Its flip effect activates.
Nice. It's a pretty big wall.
Next, you have practically the best way to get to Necrovalley is your Recruiter. Recruiter, it's when you this card you control is sent to the graveyard. So it's either by tributing it, linking it away, fusion summoning, anything like that. As long as it's in your control and being sent to the graveyard, its effect will trigger, and you get to add any Gravekeeper monster that's 15 or less defense from your deck to your hand.
Gotcha. And those are pretty expensive. Yeah, they are. I was looking them up the other day.
All right, and then I run.
Talking about expensive.
I run these nice, beautiful 2 Gravekeeper Commandants. Now, Commandant, he's your 1500 defense target usually. So what Recruiter does is you'll go Recruiter into the Commandant, and then Commandant just goes into your Necrovalley. At the same time, if you already have Necrovalley, you can use him as a normal summon or a special summon. He becomes 21 with Necrovalley. Also, being Earth, he is just random because he's randomly Earth. He becomes a way to kind of beat over Shadow Imprisoning Mirror.
Nice. So today you beat ABCs and Blue Eyes, right?
ABCs, no, Thunder Dragons.
Thunder
ABCs
Dragons.
and Thunder Dragons.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah. And then I run 2 Descendants. Descendant's nice mid to late game. Early game, he's okay. He can become a 2K beat stick. That's pretty nice, just because of the fact that most of them are just 15 and just become higher just because of the 500 gain. It's great. But at the same time, if it's late game and they're running out of steam, he just starts popping cards. You can attack with them all. If not, you can just start popping everything, and he's still a 2K beat stick that just runs
I saw that versus you versus James. You just pop like 5 cards throughout the couple turns.
Yeah. And then next we're going to get into the one-ofs. It's quite a lot for the Gravekeeper monsters. So first I play 1 Headman, 1 Spiritualist, 1 Spear Soldier, 1 Assailant, and 1 Gravekeeper's Heretic. Now the one-ofs, they're nice being the 1, because Heretic, he's unaffected by all of the card effects. This also means that he does not gain the 500 attack points from Necrovalley, sadly, but still he can't be touched by anything. Drowning Mirror Force, Effect Failures, and Permanence, nothing. He can't. Nothing. What Assailant can do is he becomes a 2K beat stick that can actually change the battle positions of your opponent's monsters when it attacks. And it can just, in some cases it's good, in other cases I use him as more fusion material. That's what usually these 2 are. But also when Necrovalley is on the field, he becomes piercing. The other 2 that I have is Headman and Spiritualist. Spiritualist is your fusion summon when it comes down to with Necrovalley on the field. You can use your hand or hand or field, just as long as Necrovalley is on the field. And then Headman, he's like a recursion. He's a monster reborn for the deck, but you can also it's either face up attack position or face down defense position.
Nice.
So it can recur a spy.
And put it face down.
Yep, put it face down. So that's all the one-ofs for Gravekeeper monsters. I'm running a bit of a Banish type engine with 1 Grand Maju with 3 Eater of Millions.
Oh, nice.
My thought process is that Eater of Millions, it just needs a minimum of 5 cards. So if you use your extra deck sparingly, you can just keep dropping Eater of Millions, and it's just a one-on-one removal, non-targeting. Also, they can't tribute it if they try to use anything like that. So they can't kaiju it. They can't use it for any type of materials, nor can I. And then, honestly, the best way to remove it is just by destruction removal. Can't attack over it, because you typically banish whatever it's attacking. And then Grand Maju is just, after banishing your entire deck, this becomes like a 6K beat stick that just drops and swings. So I just thought it was a good interaction if I ever just, came into a dock deck war, just can drop a 6K beat stick out of nowhere. And
have you ever tried Pot of Desires? What do you think about Pot of Desires?
there was too often of a chance because you want to keep your Necrovalleys recurring. That if you banished any of them, you lose Necrovalley quite often in the deck.
Gotcha.
People will see Necrovalley and go, okay, I need to get rid of that card.
Yeah.
Which is a big focus on how the deck works because you just know that they're going to always try to get rid of your Necrovalley. You just need to focus on what you're doing.
Gotcha.
But if you banish it off of Desires, you're losing your win condition practically.
Gotcha.
Next thing is I run just as like interruptions, triple effect Veiler, and one Luna. Luna was an idea of just a one-on-one removal, just like I've been just how I've been thinking about it. As for Gravekeepers, they don't need exactly mass removal or anything. They just need answers to those one cards that they can't exactly deal with. Mainly monsters, so Luna just becomes that one that, yeah, you can negate the effect, but it still forces them to either lose some resource or typically just lose the monster.
Yeah.
So that's as far as with the monsters. There's 23 monsters.
Oh, nice. Big monster count.
Yeah, it's pretty high, but it comes down to the beautiful card of the deck.
Nice.
My playset of Ultimate Necrovalleys. I got this deck for free practically.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I got it completely
gorgeous.
for free.
Gorgeous.
And even with the Necrovalleys and Commanders, like the whole deck was practically put together for me, and then I just tweaked it. So the Necrovalleys, it's not much to say. Necrovalley has been going through a lot of erratas. Its most recent one is practically just cards cannot be moved from the graveyard, and that means no banishing, no shuffling from the grave to the deck, no monster reborn, Call of the Haunted. Even if like a card activates to remove another card, you can't even do that. Even if a card tries to move itself from the graveyard, nothing can be moved from the graveyard now. And then also what stopped Element Sabers was attributes and types can't be changed in the graveyard anymore.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, this also stops zombies, I found out.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, because you have Zombie World and then you get the Necrovalley, it cancels out the Zombie World in the graveyard.
I had no idea about that. Okay. So this deck's pretty good because before the tournament you beat Juan's Blue Eyes deck.
Yeah.
Then in the tournament you beat Thunder Dragons. And then you beat James ABC, so yeah.
Yeah, it was 2-0 against the Blue Eyes, 2-0 against the Thunder Dragons, and then it was a 2-1 against
James. The
James,
ABCs.
yeah.
But that was in the semifinals. It was a pretty good matchup.
Yeah, it was a really good game. What it was is he won the first one, I won the second one, and then I won the third one ultimately. It just became a grind game, and I just had the right top deck set up practically. That it didn't matter what he got, I was just always blowing it up. Alright, so the next 3 cards are 3 Necrovalley Thrones. This is literally a 2-in-1 card. It searches any Gravekeeper monster you want from your deck to your hand, and then at the same time, if you don't want to search anything, it just acts as a double summon. Literally, like you just immediately normal summon another.
Rota/double summon.
Yeah, just Rota/double summon.
Nice.
Let's get it right that. Real quick. Searches any Gravekeeper monster, so practically I've been using it more or less for Heretic, because he's unaffected by a lot of card effects. It's a really good one, but at the same time, I've been able to just put a lot of monsters on board to blow up cards with Descendant or something like that. Last of the spells is 2 Royal Tributes and 1 Regeki. I run mass removal sparingly, but Regeki is honestly the best for your opponent. Dark Hole obviously hurts me in the long run. And then I like Royal Tribute. I don't like it at 3. It's very cloggy at 3 when I've play tested it. Anybody else can play it at 3, that's fine. But for me, I found that 2 is perfect. You can get it with your opening hand, and it's completely fine.
Did you Royal Tribute anybody in the tournament?
Yeah, actually, I got everybody in the tournament.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I got.
So at 2 is pretty good.
Yeah, 2 was pretty good. I saw it and I was able to use it, and it won the game practically. Like, yeah, well, it didn't win me the game against James, but it definitely won me the game against
Thunder Dragons.
Thunder Dragons, yeah, against Justin, because it was I set up my field. I lost only 1 monster to it, and he lost practically his entire hand. Like,
damn, and with Necrovalley on the field, they pretty much can't do much with it.
Yeah, with Thunder Dragons, they can't banish any of their stuff. He top decked Thunder Dragon Fusion. He couldn't do anything with it because he can't shuffle.
Damn.
So, and then it was a good start with against the ABCs, but the issue that was the issue that came up is that I just wasn't able to mount any progression. Like I wasn't able to progress my game state after doing it. I just started grabbing drawing into interruptions, which was slowing his stuff down, but he still was poking me the damage and everything.
Did you draw any combo pieces or nothing like that you needed?
No, it was just straight. It helped slow him down, but after that, it just couldn't do anything.
And then we're into the traps now.
Yeah, we're into the traps. This was pretty good in the game, and just in general, it's a one-on-one removal. I know deep prison isn't really favorable, but it banishes, which was something that like I could do. If I banished, it helped increase Maju. It helped increase Eater of Millions. It was a way that I was thinking is like I want one-on-one removal, but I didn't want. I wanted something to gain off of it. And this lets me gain a little bit, like 400 if it's for the Grand Maju, 100, even if it's just 100 with the Eater of Millions, that's still an extra 100 points.
And your opponent's not expecting you to play
No, they're not.
the
battle traps are really unnecessary. Like a lot of people just go like they don't need them, no need to worry about them. So if you're running battle traps, half the time people just run into them because they think they're bluffs.
Yeah, like when you did the Mirror Force and James, you didn't know you were playing a Mirror Force.
No, he just thought it was Necrovalley and stuff. So... Next I have for the last, as far as for Necrovalley cards, is 2 tombs. These are practically your Infernity barriers for the deck. You have to have a face-up Gravekeeper monster and Necrovalley on the field to activate it, but usually you're setting up your board.
It stops everything pretty much.
Yeah, it's just straight Infernity barrier. Hard once per turn though.
Okay.
So it is a hard once per turn.
And then this could become into those.
Yes. So what Necrovalley Temple does is that if you don't have one, have a Necrovalley in the field zone, it can activate one from your hand or graveyard, just right then and there, even during your opponent's turn. What also it does is that if you control a Gravekeeper monster while Necrovalley's on the field, your opponent's monster just lose 500 attack points. So now there's 1,000 difference between your two monsters. So this is nice to come across, but the one of is perfectly fine. You don't need this all the time, but when it comes across, it does its work.
Does its job pretty much.
It literally does its job at the one card that it does, because it will get you the Imperial Tombs if you want them. And let's say that you don't need the Imperial Tombs. You can still technically search out your Necrovalley thrones and set them. Nice. Or you can even set a Necrovalley. It doesn't matter. As long as it's something that says Necrovalley in its name, spell a trap, it gets set.
Nice.
Mm-hmm. And then the last 2 cards I run on the deck are Solemn Warning and Mirror Force. Another battle trap. Mirror Force is just overall a good card. I just preferred destroying and sending them to the grave because I knew most times I had Necrovalley on the field. So yeah, Storming's a better card in the long run, but Mirror Force just did more work because Storming can still benefit my opponent because they still get to keep all the resources. With Necrovalley in play, half the time they just lose, and then Warning is just a stop. It's just a solid negation.
It's a 1-up for a reason.
Yep. And then onto the extra deck. So the only 5 you honestly want to care about. The only one you want to honestly care about. You don't even need to worry about these 4. These are just the 4 that I felt were the best to go with the deck if I ever needed it to. Let's just talk about the main dude first. We have Gravekeeper'S Supernaturalist. He's really, really good for the deck. When you first see it, it's like, oh, you need to run Polymerization, but when you realize that you have consistent ways to pull off your Necrovalleys and Spiritualist, it's very easy just to fusion summon into him, and then he gains 100 attack points by the level of the fusion material. If you use 2 level 4s, he gains 800. So he's a 28 beat stick when he comes out on the field.
Yeah, that's what I thought, that you needed polymerization at first. So good to know.
So the thing was with Necrovalley, it goes to typically it's either a 32 or 33 beat stick. I only run like 3s and 4s in the deck, so it's always going to be above 3k.
Yeah.
So half the time this is a good out. This can out a lot of things. Another thing is that while this card and Necrovalley are on the field, neither can be destroyed by card effects.
Nice.
And then during the main phase, you can activate the effect that during the end phase, you can add any Gravekeeper monster or Necrovalley card from your deck to your hand.
Damn, searches your deck pretty much.
Yeah, searches the entire deck. Any monster you want, it searches Tombs, it searches Necrovalley. The only thing it doesn't search is Royal Tribute.
So pretty much, if you're ahead, this card's pretty much sealing the deal with the
if you're already ahead, this is just going to start every turn you're getting an advantage, period. Like, you just, all right, draw, standby, main phase, activate effect, no response. Okay, cool. So they're not stopping this. I'm going to get a search at the end phase.
Nice.
The next extra deck monsters that were kind of useful during the tournament, I actually didn't even use these two. These two are the ones that I used.
Did you win a game with Gaga?
Yes, I actually did. I cowboyed for game against Thunder Dragons in the second game.
Oh,
I cowboyed for game. I saw it. I saw the perfect 800, and I went for it. Phoenix came very clutch into game 2. I just started popping, game 3 in ABCs. Because typically, you know, I'm always going for the fusion. Yeah. If not that, I'm just banishing them for Eater of a Millions. So I actually linked someone into Phoenix to then pop a Mirror Force that was in my way. And it just started going downhill for the ABC.
Nice. And the other ones?
These were just thought process. Like, Bagusta's just a good stall card. If I'm not, let's say that I draw all the wrong stuff, but I can at least set up Bagusta, then that's my go-to play is, you know, try to set up Bagusta and then just try to get a little bit of advantage off of it, you know.
Since you have a double summon card in your deck.
Yeah, it really would help. And then the other one, Douglas, he's just an idea of this, you know, I can either use him as just to dig deeper in my deck, double an attack, like, it's just... He can be a useful card at any time during Gravekeepers, because Gravekeepers can't exactly OTK in one turn, but with this card, it can, because, you know, if you double Spiritual Naturalist, that can happen.
That's a big hit, yeah.
Yeah, that's 66 or 64 coming directly at you guys, so.
Good. What about the other ones? Or those just Banishing?
They're just practically there for Banishing, but we can still show them off. You know, we got a Beast Eyes, a Red Archfiend Abyss, whatever the card that is, I just like it. LP, Chimera Tech Rampage, Goyo King, Dark End Dragon, Legendary Sheehan, Solomon Great, Mirage Stalio, and then the Cubic Fusion.
Nice.
Just a bunch of random cards to run into the deck, just because all of these you're just banishing off of Eater of a Million, so it doesn't matter. The only thing that matters is honestly just keeping your Spiritual Naturalist at the bottom of your extra deck, because even at the very end of it all, you can still pull out Spiritual Naturalist if you use 2 or 3 Eater of a Millions. If you used all 3, then, you know, it's probably banished, but at the same time, if you already used 2, that means you have at least your 5 cards that are good still.
Yeah, good
in the late game, mid game, anything like that. You already got rid of everything that you don't need. You're only running actually like an extra deck of 5. If you want to add more, you can. It's just I don't try to have an extra deck that's reliant. It's okay to have a reliable extra deck, but when you run Eater of Millions, like in my eyes, it doesn't seem like it's worth it, because you're most of the times you're wanting to try to use Eater of Millions than trying to use the extra deck, because what's the point of running Eater of Millions without
What did you think about Allure of Darkness in the deck?
I haven't actually been able to try it. I just don't feel... it can dig, yes, but I just don't like banishing a bunch of my stuff. I don't know what all I could draw into, and then... Yes, they're all darks, but, you know, I run a lot of one-ofs that can be changed, but at the same time, it's just with the one-ofs, it causes it that if I have to banish the one card, then I lose out on something.
Gotcha. All right. Yeah. Well, I appreciate the deck profile, bro,
and I appreciate it too. It was a great tournament.